Attitude refers to the feelings of a persona in a given poem towards the subject matter. Sometimes it can be used to refer or to express the feelings of other people in a given poem as the writer or the persona may deem fit. Usually, attitude is brought out in three perspectives. Number one, the positive feelings of a persona. Positive feelings of a persona, or rather positive feelings of attitude, can be brought out by the persona when they express a sense of adoration, liking, loving, or admiration towards the subject matter. In this case, we always use words like loving, adoring, liking, etc. These words bring out positivity and the persona expresses positivity towards the subject matter that is being talked about. Number two, there are neutral feelings of attitude. When somebody is talking about neutral feelings, they express neutrality, that they do not have a side they lie to. They seem to lack an option. In fact, they do not have a choice. They harbor their feelings and do not even want to be associated with it. They seem helpless, that it does not really concern them. Actually, we could use the don't care attitude in this case, because they tend to think, or they tend to bring it out, that it is none of their business. In this case, we use adjectives like helpless, resigned, hopeless, submissive, among others, because the persona in this case does not want to associate himself or herself with the subject matter. They want to stay aside and do not really want to participate in what is happening in a given poem. Number three, we've got negative feelings of attitude. Negative feelings of attitude want to portray the persona as being a person who is not for. They do not agree with what the subject matter is saying. What is said in the poem, or what message comes out, is not part of what they like. For example, they want to show that they are against it totally. Many times, when we talk about maybe administrations, people who do not like a given form of administration, they want to talk of it negatively. They want to always bring negative criticism. In this regard, we talk about negative feelings of attitude. In this case, we use words like sarcastic, scornful, hating, contemptuous, cynical, scornful, like we said already, bitter, angry, among others. Attitude also is normally brought out, or we get to depict or discern attitude from a written piece of work by the choice of words the writer or the persona uses in there. Equally, we'll want to look at the subject matter. How does it come out? How are the words of the persona in relation to the subject matter of what is being talked about? Are they for it all? Are they against it? Are they neutral? Then we can easily decide on how to talk about that given attitude in a given poem. A good example is a poem written by Henry Barlow. Henry Barlow wrote a poem called Building the Nation. In Building the Nation, Henry Barlow says that or rather uses the driver, or rather the chauffeur, in that poem to bring out the feelings of what that poem is about. Because the driver, or the chauffeur, says or talks about driving a PS to a very important meeting. That important meeting was only a lunch at the Vic. That luncheon is described negatively because the PS had lots of food, had all niceties and all the things he wanted, but the driver, or rather the chauffeur, had nothing. When the chauffeur speaks and brings out the various words he uses in there, he is very negative, and a negative attitude is brought out, which we can describe as being sarcastic, or rather scornful, or contemptuous, because he does not like what happens, and all the things that happen in there are not part of what he subscribes to. Therefore, a negative feeling of attitude is brought out, and different attitudes can be brought out in different poems as they may be fit by the poet or the persona.